and welcome back to my channel. My name's Charlotte, but if you follow me on Instagram you might know me better as Foxy. So today basically I wanted to come on and talk about my journey with breastfeeding. So I exclusively pump my milk and give it to my baby through a bottle. So he is exclusively breastfed, but not via the breast. Like, I pump my milk and give it to him from a bottle. So the reason why I made this channel in general is because I wanted to, one, look back at all the happy memories that I make with Kirsten. I think in the future it'll be super cute to look back at everything we did when he was a baby. And two, mostly why I created the channel is because I get asked quite a lot of questions, and I just thought if I could make a channel it would be easier to help more people. So I just want to say that, one, I'm not an expert at being a mum. I am a first-time mum and I am truly winging it. Two, I'm not an expert on breastfeeding. I have no breastfeeding qualifications. I'm not an expert on pumping. This is just my experience. And three, I have no medical experience. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. So you basically have to take everything I tell you as my experience, and I hope that it can help you, but don't take it as gospel. This is purely my experience with my baby. So today my baby has turned 6 months old. So I have been exclusively pumping for 6 months. I've labelled this video as a positive breastfeeding journey, but there has been hard times I wanted to quit, but also good times. So today I'm just going to quickly tell you my journey with breastfeeding, just so that you feel clued up on my experience and why I exclusively pump. And then in further videos I can go into things like how to avoid mastitis and blocked ducts, because it is the worst. Pump reviews, because I've tried every pump in the world, I think. Like ways to stick to the pump schedule, how to plan your day around pumping, how to entertain a baby while pumping. What else? Like how to clean your pump, how to assemble your pump, how to sterilize your pump, how to store your milk, how to pump on the go, basically everything to do with pumping. But I thought if we just start today with my pumping journey, then you'll understand more about why I pump. Because I get asked this all the time, like, why don't you just feed him at the breast? Or why don't you just give him formula? And so this will hopefully clear that up. And I just want to say before I get started, I am not anti-formula at all. This isn't a video to say if you can't breastfeed you have to pump because breast is best. It's just a video of my experience with pumping. I support mums in whatever way they want to feed their baby, but I just hope that maybe this video can help people that didn't know about exclusively pumping, because there isn't that much information out there. I feel like it's probably the last choice of feeding. So you have breastfeeding and formula, and then some people exclusively pump. So I feel like there's a lack of information, and maybe my experience could help someone. So let's get started into why I exclusively pump. So I have tried to film this video before, but it turned out really long, so I'm trying to keep it short for you. So I always thought that I wanted to breastfeed. I went on maternity leave at 28 weeks, which is super early because of lockdown in the UK. So I had plenty of time to research what I wanted to do, and I just felt like breastfeeding would suit me best, which every mum has to do what's going to work best for you and your baby. And I really had my heart set on breastfeeding. I knew that it didn't always happen easily. I was kind of naive to think that your baby's born and you just whack them on the boob and Bob's your uncle, which makes me want to say there needs to be a bit more information maybe about breastfeeding. But I didn't realise my journey was going to be as hard as what it is. So baby was born, vaginal birth, no complications, mum and baby completely well, and we had the lovely skin to skin. Dad had a little bit of skin to skin, and baby latched for the colostrum. So if you don't know, colostrum is what they call liquid gold, and it's basically the first little bit of milk you have, and it's full of antibodies, full of goodness, and it's like the first little bit of milk that you have to give your baby, and it's like literally like this much. So that was fine, didn't think there'd be an issue. Got wheeled around to postnatal ward, and baby just basically wouldn't latch at all. I had loads of help. I cannot fault the midwives, and they had feeding specialists come and try and help, but baby just didn't want to know. And this was quite disappointing for me because I'd really wanted to breastfeed. So I had to give some formula for him to come home, which isn't a problem. My baby needed feeding, and that was the solution. And came home, and I'd actually been following a reality star called Lauren Goodman. I'll leave her Instagram here because she's super helpful, and she has a YouTube channel. And she'd had her baby a few months before me, and she had been exclusively pumping. So if I didn't follow her, I probably wouldn't know that this is an option. Nobody told me in the hospital, like it's never been mentioned before. So when I got home, I thought, do you know what? I really do want him to have my milk, if possible. Let's try pumping. So nobody tells you this either, but your milk can take between 1 and 5 days to come in, which is completely normal. I think a lot of women panic, oh my God, I haven't got much milk, is my baby getting enough? But what they don't really explain to you is a baby's tummy is like teeny weeny. That's why when they're new, they need feeding quite a lot, because their belly is just like teeny weeny weeny, and it doesn't take much to fill them up, but then obviously they get hungry again quickly. So your milk will be enough, and it will come in as long as you keep putting the baby to your breast or keep pumping. And obviously, even if you give formula at the start, you're literally giving them teeny weeny amounts to fill them up. So I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to try the pump, see if I get any milk. Put the pump on, and I got milk. It was amazing. I remember sending pictures to my friends like, there's milk. And we fed the baby through the bottle, and he loved life. And so I don't know what's considered normal, because obviously I'm a first time mum, but I know that because of COVID, we didn't have that many midwife appointments. Nobody came to our house very often. But I think it was around day 5, or it might have been day 3, he had jaundice. And I remember ringing the midwife and saying, oh my God, he looks like Bart Simpson. He's so yellow. What should I do? So she came to check on him, and he was fine, to be honest. That's another thing with breastfed babies, they can experience jaundice. And she checked in his mouth, and he had really bad tongue tie, because I basically asked her to help me latch him because I was still trying to latch. And unfortunately, because of COVID, they weren't doing the snips or assessing the tongue ties on the NHS. So we had to go privately, and there was like a 2-week wait. So in those 2 weeks, I was still trying to latch him and still not having any of it. I tried nipple shields, and he was a lot better with the shields, but it was just really uncomfortable. So by this time, I was in a routine with pumping, and he was happy on my milk. So that was just the way forward, really. We had his tongue tie cut, and the lady was a lactation consultant, so she tried to help him latch as well, which he actually, cheeky monkey, did in front of her. But I don't think he was doing it properly still. And after that, we had a few video consultations with lactation consultants, but he just wasn't latching. And by this point, he was getting agitated, I was getting stressed, and I thought, do you know what? We're in a good routine, we're pumping now. Let's just carry on. I liked it as well that his dad could feed him through the bottle, because obviously my milk was always pumped into the bottles, so there was always milk ready and Dad could feed him. Quickly explain, at 4 weeks I had the panic that most breastfeeding mums have. Oh my God, is my baby getting enough milk from me? Is he growing okay? We have basically never seen a health visitor. He's never been weighed really. And so I was like, oh my God, what if he's not getting enough? So I gave him a tiny bit of cow's milk formula. I'm vegan, so he would have never had milk from cow's milk through my milk. And we gave him that little bit of formula, and he projectile vomited the whole day. So it was enough to basically make me just carry on pumping. And then at 8 weeks, I got the dreaded mastitis. I do not wish this on any of you. So I gave him a different brand of cow's milk formula. Again, a small amount, because I thought I don't want to carry on pumping this mastitis. But it does pass quickly, so you will be okay. Gave him another brand, and basically the reaction was worse. So the doctor diagnosed cow's milk protein allergy. And basically, because the reaction was so bad and so scary, which I will talk about in a different video, this probably won't happen to your baby, by the way, if you want to give them formula. But I just thought I will carry on pumping. And I was in a good routine. You know, they say, like, if you do something every day for 40 days, it becomes a habit. Like, if you want to get up earlier or you want to exercise more. So I feel like because I'd pumped for so many days, then it was like part of my routine. It seemed normal. So I just carried on, but I did stick to the pumping schedule like religiously. So I will talk about that in a different video, like how to pump, how often to pump, when to pump. So yeah, I have to say at about 6 weeks, I did buy the ELVIE pumps, which just slot into your bra. And even though I don't rate them very highly, I wouldn't have carried on my pumping journey without them for the time that I used them, because they were so convenient. I could see to the baby and I could just basically move around with them in. So now I'm at 6 months, and so he's been exclusively breastfed from me exclusively pumping. So the pros are that I've managed to hit my 6-month goal of breastfeeding, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without exclusively pumping. He's happy, he's healthy, he's thriving. We have had him weighed and he's actually above what he needs to be. He's not overweight, but he's basically reached potential of what he needs to be. He still loves the milk, which is good. I managed to keep up my milk supply. So that's the pros. Obviously I'm happy that I reached my goal, and I will continue to pump, basically because I have no choice, which is going to be another video, because he's literally allergic to every formula we try, even the prescription ones. He just doesn't want to know. The cons of exclusively pumping is it is hard work, I will not lie. And another pro is other people can feed the baby because you've got the milk in a bottle. Cons is obviously sticking to like the schedule, making sure you pump enough. Obviously as well, your whole day kind of revolves around when you need to pump. Less sleep because you're pumping in the night. That's when you make the most milk. So maybe your baby will start sleeping more through the night, but you still have to get up and pump. That's it really. It is like a balance. So yeah, I just wanted to fill you in on my story of why I pump, and hopefully going forward I can make some videos to help you if that's something that you're looking to do, or even if you just want to pump some of the time. Hopefully like my reviews of breast pumps will help you. So people have said, why don't I use formula, or why don't I combination pump and formula? So long story short, Kirsten has cow's milk protein allergy, so that rules out formula. He was prescribed prescription formula for severe allergies, and if you've ever smelt that stuff, he will not drink it. We have tried everything, mixing it with my milk, vanilla extract, you name it, will not drink it. So that's why I feel like maybe a little bit forced to carry on pumping. And people have suggested freezing my milk so that I have a supply. So maybe I could stop at 7 months, but I will have a supply in the freezer for 9, 10, 11 months. Basically, I make just enough milk to get us through every few days, and I don't have a oversupply to freeze. That is an amazing idea if you do, and I know a lot of mums do that. So if you can, definitely do that. but I'm not in a position to do that. Plus our freezer is about this big. I've tried everything to increase my milk supply, and some things have worked, so I'll do a video on that, but not enough to have an oversupply to freeze them. Some people have said donor milk, which in COVID times, the GPs, etc., aren't really recommending it. The problem I have is I would need to find a donor who is cow's milk free, egg free, which is fine because there's plenty of vegan donors, but also we found that he reacts to soya and pea protein, so it's obviously a massive ask and hard to find a vegan donor who doesn't have soya or pea protein. And also I feel like, why, unless the woman donating has got a massive oversupply and just like, here you go, I've got too much milk, don't need it, I feel like, why should I be expecting another lady to go out of her way to feed my baby when I can do it? What other things have people asked? That's it really. So I hope that gives you a bit more insight into my personal pumping and breastfeeding journey. So basically, baby had severe tongue tie and wouldn't latch, started pumping and it worked out very well for us. Tried numerous pumps, stuck to the pump schedule, and here we are 6 months later. So if this video has sparked some interest, stay tuned for videos coming. If there's anything in particular you want to know, leave it in the comments, but it's likely to be like how to stick to the pump schedule, how to unblock clogged ducts, because that's serious, and all things like that. So yeah, 6 months in, we did it, we reached the 6 month mark, yay! So take care, bye.